It's been a day and a half of League. Just kind of wanted to show where my Whispering Ice build is. We've got a 6 socket, running Unleash, concentrated, elemental focus, control destruction, faster casting, and inspiration. We're using our Void Sphere with Temp Chains, Second Wind, and Hex Touch, which is basically the former Curse on Hit. Chest is just for the 300 ES basically. We've got some ES and Int on our rings, decent ES boots, and pretty good to go. We've got our potion set up basically just for our status effects. And let me show you how it plays. We're just going to run a quick T3 map here. Been doing a lot of heists, so our mapping's not that far along. So we map pretty well. Be a bit chaotic, but with our defensive layers in place, which I'll go over here in a second if you about those. Basically we have a cast when damage taken, Purifying Flame, and Frost Wall, and Pulse.
Can I not help you?
We're also using Skill Skin on our move, just to knock some damage off when it's up versus not. Just selects everything in place for us, while also doing our piercing. And I'll probably change as my Void Sphere gets quality and all the other fun stuff with it, finishes leveling up. I'll swap it back. Instead of doing Temp Chains, I'll convert it to doing Frostbite for the damage boost. Right now, as we're kind of still low on our ES, as we're waiting to get more of our hints, our clusters, that just aren't available period at the moment. Finding Temp Chains is better. It keeps them from being able to escape the Void Sphere, which actually becomes quite helpful when we do things like Cassia. I sometimes think this is possibly going to get nerfed, so not this league, but next league. We'll see how it goes. Let's go ahead and just put that there. Just a reminder, they've changed how towers are, so lightning and others do much better. But, so my point is, since our Void Sphere basically this whole thing is still for us, we can almost just kind of AFK everything. We control where the mobs go, we don't control where they go. Which is helpful for lightning. Just hit level 70 last map, or map before, I think. So, a little chaotic, we're still squishy, but not bad. Probably got about 40 chaos invested top to bottom in this entire build so far. And it's feeling quite good. Like I said, the hardest part now is just kind of playing the waiting game as the cluster jewels that we need come available. And I'll show you what some of them look like. What we're really trying to find is a whole bunch of like split personalities with plus 5 hits. Because the way our freeze built, we get about 150 hits or more out of each of them. Plus we also get our illusion off of them as well, and a bunch of other kind of support stats that we need. We're also trying to get genius tools. We have to get the maniacs, because we need the medium versions. We can't get genius on small, but we're going through 3 cluster wheels. We don't have enough skill points to do geniuses on smalls. But in general, it's not the fastest thing around at the moment. Once we get our damage up a little bit more, it'll pick up a lot of speed. But it's safe, it's sound, and the bossing damage is good. We have our frost shield, which is one of the biggest improvements to the build that really helps on why we don't have to go clustering. So we throw it down, and then we can just stand here. With our leech, it's not a problem. We can refresh it, move it as we need. You can see, piece of cake, no problems, good single target damaging. Our AoE and our clear will pick up a lot more once we get, like I said, the rest of our int going. Build tops out at about 3,500 hits. And we're only at 21, so we still got 2,000% more hits to go in the build. Once we do that, then it won't be a big deal to just basically tap and run. But the build works just fine as it is. My mouse just hasn't been working. Completely, there it goes. Still having issues. But with our defensive layers, even with our mouse not working, we're able to still survive. So it's a quite tanky build for only having 3,500 ES at the moment. Like I said, all that kind of changes will top out once we get everything loaded. Somewhere around 12,000, 9 to 12,000 ES. Once we get to that point as well, we don't have to worry about taking hits nearly as much, so we can be a little bit more aggressive in our just kind of standing toe-to-toe with monsters. We don't have to worry about what hits us. A couple things I'll probably change is put in a hypothermia / maybe ice bite into the build somewhere. Here's our link, cast with damage. Vile cold snap, which I didn't even use on the boss, but it does help a ton for bossing. Frost wall, purifying flames, mainly just for the consecrated ground for the ints and int increase, and the fact that there we go. We picked up Zealothos. It's 1 skill point. Gives us a ton of extra regen when that goes off. So when we get hit, we get a ton of regen. Our still skin's gonna pop about once every 2 seconds, and that takes another bit of life. We've got our Void Sphere keeping everything off of us. Temp Chains keeping them slow. Frost Bomb negating their cold by resistance. And then our Frost Shield if we need to. You know, it's 690 life. and then it can go up to 4 stages, so that's, you know, 2,400 extra life, so that's 2,400 life, plus another 800, so that's 3,000, plus the energy shield there, so we almost have an effective 5,000 life right now, even though we're only level 70, just started mapping, and most of our gear isn't available. I even still have a whole bunch of slots to fill out. I have got the, this is mainly just for some resist, some cold damage, crit, resist. We do have a fertile mind here, and a brute force there for extra on the tree. Then we also have our, what's up here, pure talent for more stats. We're basically looking for 8, this is a 9, but I got it because it was cheap. Gave me some fire, gave me some resist, gave me plus 5 energy shield, and it had cold to the core, which is the key thing, which grants us 25 dex, or per 25 dex and strength we get 1% extra damage. At our current totals of 239 strength, 186 dex, and 1251 int, that's given us close to another 60% extra damage. So in the end, we'll have a cold here for 60, here for 60, off here for another 60, and that's just with our current stats. The biggest thing that we're waiting for is just finish leveling, along with the cluster jewels to be available. For the mediums, we put megalomaniacs with geniuses in it. Not really too important on the other ones. And then we got to fill out this spot, this jewel. So we get a lot of jewels to fill in, where we're going to be putting split personalities here, here, and here. And as you can see from here, the tree has to go this entire zigzagged, insane path back to get back home. So it's almost, I think it's like almost 100 nodes. It's at least 95 nodes to get back to here, which is where we're getting tons and tons and tons of stuff from. To get all the way back, it's insane amount of traveling from here. Then these are about the same, so you get just tons of int, and that's how we get our int to 3,500. I'll probably play some of the other skills that are available for the next week or so on another character, just while I wait for some of the gear to come available. It's all really expensive. Cyclobian belts are still running. Well, max rolls are 18%, or 15% are running 1x right now. Here in like 4 days, they'll be down to like 10 chaos. So I'll go play another build, wait a couple days, buy into a ton of gear for this character, and then kind of show you what it looks like. Just wanted to kind of give a early kind of day 1.5 wrap up of where it looks, how it's going. It's going really smooth, it's going well. We actually got to mapping when we were like level 63, 64, so we're about 5 levels ahead of mapping on a starter character. So it's done really, really well. The two things that I think that, and I've tried I went and did the cycloning options, tried cyclone, cast while channeling. It's not as good, and the reasoning, and I kind of mentioned it in the first why I thought it might not be so good. It's always been a trailing one, so you always kind of cyclone through, ice storm would hit as you went, and then the monsters that you went through would just be chewed up in the storm. The problem with this now is with the way ice storm works, being very short-lived. If you take Unleashed out and you just look, it still has some duration, but you basically just get a trail of that. You don't get a ton of like rains, and so what you end up with overall is something that just kind of looks like this as you cycling through, and it's not enough damage to just blitz through anymore. this high level. And the problem is after you get to your 5th cast, and that's the difference. As you get through your 5th cast, so by the time you cast number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that 6th cast is stopping that first storm you cast. In the past it wouldn't. It would still have a ton of duration due to the int. The duration's capped now, and because of that cap, the self-casting feels so much faster, so much stronger, and so much quicker. The other thing about it is, you know, the worst issues with Whispering Ice was having to cast a whole bunch of, you know, it's a costly spell. 67 mana per cast, which is why we gotta use Unleash, because then we only take the 1 hit, boom, we're good, we get 3 out of it. But, so, you know, in the last couple leagues we've got Unleash, that's became new. We now have
Can I not have but a moment's respite?
Frost Shield, which is an amazing skill. As you can see, it takes about 300 or 400 ES, but then this thing protects a ton. Like I said, it's 2400 some damage that you're not taking, and when things are inside of it, you know, basically they're taking 20%, you know, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. So, basically you're getting crit chance on top of it, just flat crit chance per stage, so you're getting another 1.2 spell crit chance on a base. Then it's basically absorbing all this damage that's coming in. And then even if they're inside the shield with you, you're still getting 20% of that damage reduced. I find it's good when you're bossing, or actually I use it more, like I said, with a boss, it just lets you stand still. Bottom line, there's a whole lot of in and out mechanics with it I've seen, and I don't know if this is a bug, because how they built this skill, I've seen where some projectiles like to dance around it. Not direct shot projectiles, more like a ground cover or kind of an orb style that's supposed to chase. A lot of times it'll hit that barrier and kind of walk around it. It does come in eventually, but I think there's something that it messes with some paving. That's probably not intentional and will get fixed later on. But just the sheer amount that you're gotta, you know, it's in that whole extra, then you can still also Steel Skin or Mortal Call on top of it, plus the 1.2 some crit chance. It's just a really solid skill that lets us stand still. I throw it down in a boss fight and I can just sit there and rain everything down, no problem at all. Then we have Void Sphere, who has this massive AoE on it. Good duration, and during that time, like I said, I have it, it gives me my crits for Elemental Overload. I actually had Power Charge on crit with it, and I'll probably put it as my 6th link. Really, my chest is going to be Void Sphere with double cursing, Power Charge on crit, and then not really sure what else I'll put in there. It is the absolute like max level utility spell. It makes Storm, Orb of Storms, all those kinds of things like just obsolete. Even Stormbrand for cursing, because both Orb of Storms and Stormbrand kind of arc through the packs. Void Sphere hits everything, and it does it in so everything gets hit. Not to mention it's doing its own decent amount of damage, nothing to write home about. It's doing 1,000 per pulse. And it hinders almost 40% move speed, and that's why I put Temporal Chains in. Without Temp Chains, they can sneak out of it if they're fast. They can sneak out of its grasp. With Temp Chains, they're stuck. They can't move out of its grasp. So you void, you toss on top of it, frost bomb, and everything's in a nice little pack. I don't have to chase monsters,
Can I
and
not
that's the
have but a
biggest
moment's
difference on
respite?
why I don't feel the channeling is needed anymore. Because we can position the monsters where Ice Storm needs to be. Because of that, yeah, I've tried it without playing Void Sphere, and if I wasn't going to run Void Sphere, I'd say go back to the Cycloner. It clears a lot better that way. As a Cycloner without Void. With Void, yeah, I clear a lot faster self-casting, because you toss the Void, you toss one or two, you know, or one full Unleash, the pack dies, you move on. If it's a big yellow pack, you throw a Void, you throw an Ice Bomb, 2 or 3 Ice Storms, you move on. We'll see how things go. I'm not sure if I'm going to do maybe drop, you know, start toggling out some, you know, Skill Joe's concentrated effect for bosses, increased area effect for mapping, maybe put increased duration instead of inspiration. I'm still playing with some of those to see how it goes, feels. Like I said, I want to see about hypothermia, maybe ice bite, because even though we won't be able to initial spell won't, it still does leave frost ground or chilled ground, which still does chill. Even with elemental focus, the hits themselves can't chill, meaning the actual ice hit, but the chilling ground it leaves can, unless they changed it. I haven't fully tested. It's how it used to work. I gotta see if this chilling ground is still able to improve hypothermia or not with elemental overload. So gotta play, gotta do some more testing. Just wanted to do a wrap up where the builds kind of hit. You know, we got good defenses. We're making progress on our int. Our gear's still pretty junk. Like I said, I've only spent about 30-40 chaos in total on the build. So a lot of ways to go still. And I'll let you guys probably see it in about another week. I'll dust it off and get everything kind of bought up for it some. Finish leveling it out here and there, get it to level 90-ish or so. And let you guys see what it looks like at that point. But I kind of wanted to do a quick weekend wrap up before I kind of move to another character, played some things. I'm thinking maybe Jack the Axe Bleed, Lacerate or Lancing Steel or something maybe. I really want to kind of see how that plays out. I'm hopeful there's an alternate or experimental Jack the Axe unique that'll pop up that I can get. That, you know, does some more unique things, because I really love that. As you can tell, I like the unique weapons, unique weapons. Jack the Axe being one. So, anyways, I will let
Can I
you
not have but a
guys
moment's respite?
catch me on the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Have a good one.